Welcome to the Preston Innovations Christmas special, North versus South. Now, we all know North versus South, we're all friends, but there is always that thing when the North versus South comes up, and that's exactly what you lucky people are going to have today. Now, I've brought you to a fantastic fishery. It's called Herringbrook. I've actually never ever been here before, so it's my first visit. So I'm under more pressure than probably the rest of the guys. Now, the rest of the guys we got today, we got some awesome anglers. We got Andy Powers, who's my partner for today, thank God. We got Andy May. You know, we all know Andy. You know, he gives it the big one. He's going to have to make sure he gives it the big one today to beat me in Powers, I'll tell you. And then we've got Feeder International England man, Lee Carey. Now, the whole thing today is going to be about the combined weight between the two pairs. So you got me, Andy Powers, Andy May and Lee Carey together. Now, one of us is going to fish a feeder and the other angler is going to fish the pole. So we're going to be given certain items of fishing tackle. It's going to be feeder, stroke pole. We don't know exactly what we're going to get yet, but the first things we're going to do is actually go and pick the bait up, because we don't even know what bait we're allowed today. So let's get over to the bait. We're going to do the draw. Luckily, Andy Powers is going to be drawing for me, so I'm bound to be on an end peg, whatever happens. So I'm looking forward to it. We're under a lot of pressure. Believe you me, this ain't no messing around. Me and Andy want to beat Lee and Andy May. There's no doubt about it. We didn't travel all the way up here just not to bother. This is going to be a serious match. Let's go and do the draw and sort the bait out.
So as always on the Christmas special, we like to give you guys a chance to win some goodies, and this time we've got these absolute beauties, Superior X feeder rods, 9 and 11 foot. Simply head over to the Preston Innovations YouTube channel, hit subscribe, and don't forget to comment on this video where you'd like to use these rods. Right, gentlemen, North versus South. No. I'm going to draw for methods, so it's
versus, think the word out.
We're getting banter already.
Well,
so we're going to draw for the methods, pole and feeder.
Yeah.
Who wants to go first?
Team South go first.
Yeah,
go on.
so this is.
So this is the method.
please let me fish through the method feeder, Andy.
For me.
I really can't be bothered.
For you.
For me. Yeah, I'm not getting either.
Pole, I think.
Use pole. So Des, you're on feeder.
Yes, nice.
Can I have that one back, mate?
Or it'll be.
Oh no, it will be like. Where's my rod gone? You seeing,
Yeah,
Joel?
depends what bait I got, doesn't it? I might have sausage roll or something.
Well, you ain't got any maggots, have you?
Pick one.
Can't even.
I hope you've written pole on both.
Are you putting it in?
Yes.
I think it's feeder. Oh, pole. Go on the feeder.
So you're on feeder, Lee.
No, feeder.
2 feeders.
I'll have that one back, mate.
Cheers, mate. And now we're doing the pegs.
So now we're going to do the pegs.
It's really official, your hat for drawing up. I like it. It's
I've never got a label.
So this is pole.
Oh, right.
So we'll do pole
Pegs,
first.
yeah.
So these are 2 pole pegs.
Oh, sorry.
Go on, Andy, draw your pole peg.
Go on the power.
Go on, Andy, end peg. That's per normal. Keep it in the.
The 2 pole pegs are in the middle. So
Yeah.
fantastic
Oh,
result.
Andy, you're on the end peg again. There's a surprise, ladies and gentlemen.
What was that?
Stop,
Was
look.
it 3?
Andy,
Four.
out.
Does that mean?
I'm not. I thought.
Hang on, does that
Oh
mean
yeah,
it's
2,
gotta
3,
be on
4,
then?
5. Go on then. So I'm on.
3.
3.
Yeah, that'll do.
Doesn't look as good as 4 that's stuck out in the middle of the lake. But
So,
No, that's
so
5.
1 and 2
Is
are
it?
feeder
Five's
pegs,
sticking
yeah?
out.
Oh, right.
No, 2 and 5 are the feeder pegs.
Goal looks pretty sticky out.
Go on,
So
Lee.
are these
How's
the
it,
feeder
mate?
pegs?
These are the feeder pegs.
Go on, then I'll draw if it's the feeder pegs. 2.
End
So
peg.
you said make sure we're 4 and 5.
So you're on 5.
And we've drawn 2
So
and
my
3.
end peg.
Lee.
You're end peg.
So I'm next to Andy, yeah?
Oh
Yeah.
dear.
So the team.
Right,
So you're both that end.
So I can feed Andy's
so-
pole line while I'm fishing the feeder, can I?
Well, you can, but he hasn't got a pole, so it doesn't really matter, does it?
I'm just reviewing
What do you
this,
mean?
Andy.
No, I'm on the feeder.
Oh,
So I
sorry.
can feed Andy's pole line whilst I'm fishing the feeder.
No.
Why not?
You've got to feed. You've got to fish your own match.
No, because I might be like loose feeding on me on me.
Well, that's fine, but it's got to be in front of you. You can't feed his
Windy,
pig.
innit? Which side's Andy? To me, to the left.
No,
Maggot's
you're
got
the
like
end
that, wouldn't
pet.
it?
You're the
I am
end pet.
capable of
Down
feeding
with the
my
wind.
No, I'm just saying when you're playing one, if I loose feed a few maggots on your, you know what I mean?
You ain't got any left.
Yeah, I've got plenty, Andy. I've got loads.
I don't even know what bag I'm on.
It's like dealing with children.
Well, just saying.
2 and 3.
So being as this is a Christmas special, I thought we'd keep things interesting. The anglers are going to be given a bucket full of bait and some feeders and pole rigs, all pre-tied, stuff they wouldn't normally use. Bait-wise, it's very interesting. So just as an example, feeder anglers, so there's some 2mm Banoffee sticky pellets there. Obviously this is stuff that the guys wouldn't normally use. And pole-wise, we've got some 4mm bloodworm pellets. So they don't actually know that they're going to be given this yet. So let's head on up there and see the reaction.
Just washing the black dye out of my bucket from yesterday. Didn't feel like I wanted black sticky pellets, so we've sort of poured them out, and I bought my own secret pellets just for when the cameras aren't on, just in case I want to cheat. I mean, just no.
No cheating. Plan of attack then, Lee?
Chuck a method at that.
At the nice bare bank.
The nice bare bank where I can't chuck it into the tree. That'll be handy.
Lee, what is in your bucket?
What's in my bucket?
Yeah, all day.
Oh, nothing, Zolt. Nothing that concerns you. No, I was preparing some pellets, but I've just heard on the grapevine that we are being provided bait. So I thought I'd do a little bit of bait prep. So I've done all my bait prep nicely. I've brought all my nice bait, but now I'm being provided bait. So I'm quite looking forward to.
Should we have a look what's in the bucket?
Every match.
Oh, they're lovely, them,
Are
Lee.
they nice? You're going to chuck them in the lake?
Yeah, these invisible pellets.
Oh, right. You've chucked my pellets away, have you? Right, I see. Have you chucked them in the edge?
Couldn't quite possibly comment on that.
Right. Oh, right, fair enough. So now I've got to use those. Well, I look forward to using the nicely prepared pellets that the team are going to do for me, and I'm going to catch some fish on a method. That's what I'm going to do. What have I got? Am I allowed to see yet? What's in my bucket?
No, we'll wait for
right.
the southerners to come down, and we'll break the bad news to all of you.
Right. I thought I was getting ahead of the game with preparing my pellets nice and early, you see.
Yeah, sorry, mate.
Oh, well.
So we've got a selection of bait, rigs, tackle, everything for you to use today.
Wow, can you come on every match? That'd be great.
You mix our bait up?
Yeah,
No.
do it.
No.
What do you
You
mean?
bring me a cup of
Oh,
tea.
right.
First things first, cup of tea to the pegs.
So,
You need a
cup
brush.
of tea to the pegs, I'm up for that, yeah.
You need a brush for your van.
No, I need a vacuum.
there's your
That brush.
pole bucket.
Andy, look, you've got some dead shit pole rigs. You can't go wrong, mate.
You have to show me how to do it then.
It's easy. I got total them. My garage, especially for you last night.
I've got a box full
What
of
else
them.
you got?
It's all you
Well, you can give that to me. I'll swap.
No, there's no swapping.
Of course there is.
No,
It's a team game, isn't it? I thought we were
no
going to.
swapping.
Come on, Team North.
I'm quite happy with that, actually.
What we
Show
got,
me
what
them
we got?
rigs. That's stocked up. I've got my rigs stocked again, Des.
Just like a normal day, isn't
Them.
it?
That's it. I literally am putting that on.
No,
So if you're ready.
I've got a feeder. Left
Oh,
my
you'll
feeders
do.
at home,
You'll
so
do, mate.
that's handy, yeah. And a mould, happy days.
Go on, that's it. We've won it, haven't we?
Here comes my advice coming through via phone.
So limitations are you've got to use what's in the bucket.
Right.
No cheating, Lee.
We'd have to cut these up down to 3 inches.
You can cut them down if you wish.
Good.
So everything in that bucket is your bait and rigs for today.
Right.
That's nice.
You're allowed some maggots because of the conditions.
Yes.
So
We're going to catch some ropes.
I'm not going to limit you that much.
But everything
Oh,
here
they
we've
look
got to
lovely.
at least use. Right, like that.
Yeah.
Right, strap in.
Sweet. Let's go and get them whooped.
Thanks for
Hello,
me.
Andy.
Come on then.
We're in, aren't we? We're in. It's like Christmas. Well, we got our bait. I'm going to go through mine first, and Andy go through his second. Now, I'm fishing the feeder, so I'm quite happy, really. I've got some banoffee sticky pellets. I love sticky pellets anyway. So that's going to suit me down to the ground. I think chucking to the island today, I'm going to probably do a 50-50 mix of ground bait and micros, but probably start on micros. But I'm going to have to go careful because they are sticky. So I'll probably have to mix them with a little bit of ground bait. Ground bait today is something that I don't use very often on my method feeder, but you can obviously, is Robin Red. So it's a Pro Robin Red. I know that stinks. It's quite nice actually because the water's quite dirty. I'm quite happy with the bait that I've got. I've got some Robin Reds, so I can fire them over the top of the catty or chuck them down the edge, and obviously put them on the hook. Go nowhere. They've actually given me a little pot of Bandems, so I'm happy with that, and they're the right size. They're 6mm, which I think is ideal for Heronbrook. And I've got a nice little selection of feeders. Got me moles, I've got me XRs, I've got little mini feeders, little mini Duraflat methods, which I love. I've been using them recently, so I'm well in tune with them. Of different weights, different sizes. I've got a bomb, which I don't really want to be fishing the bomb today, unless it's absolutely rock hard. The water is freezing. I've just put my hand in it and it's freezing cold. So I've got a nice selection, a bit of lava, so I can put that on top of my pellets whilst I'm fishing if it's really hard. And obviously hook lengths. I've got KKMBs, which are my favourite hooks for like F1s and sort of smaller carp. But there's no hook length rule on here, so I might even try and get these down to 3 inches. But I'll start off with them straight out the packets and see how we go. Over to Andy.
Right. Well, I'm sorted rig-wise.
Well, you stole all my maggots.
They've all got your name on. So
Yeah, and I tied them last night, so you ain't got a problem with them.
sound.
Are they big enough though?
Well, it is windy. That's a 414, so it should be about right.
I reckon, I reckon you've got a 4 with 16 in there.
I don't know. Don't think I have. Ah, there we go.
Yeah. I
Sorted.
thought I tied one up for him, see.
Right. We've got some carp shallows as well, so that'll do for down the edge or maybe shallow fishing. And then bait wise,
What are you thinking? What are you thinking about what you're going to do? Because I've never fished this place before.
well, it's limited with what I've got really. I think,
What are you going to do with that paste?
yeah, obviously we've got some paste, so I'll mix some of that up.
Yeah, we got to play this a little bit cage as well, haven't we? So if I'm struggling down the edge,
Yeah, you might be able to catch on a conker or something with a bit of that, a bit of bomb and conker.
I'll tell you what. I'm just thinking actually. How many meters is that between my peg and your peg? 16 meters.
Yeah.
So I reckon if I need anything,
Well, I'm
could-
thinking I could probably cup in a bit
Yeah.
of green fish meal down the
yeah,
edge.
in my bucket.
Well, in between us, and then you could plop a method over.
No,
the
I'm
top.
more thinking if you can reach me with 16 meters with a pot, if I need anything.
Oh right, like a chocolate bar.
Well, yeah, no, I'm more thinking about trying to beat these two, Andy. But I have noticed he's got a serious Cadbury's chocolate massive bar. So if you want to bring the odd chunk,
Yeah,
then, but
I've
bring.
got a Cornish pasty, but I'm having that.
All right, just clean the pot out
Back
first.
to the bait.
Go on then, get on with it,
Right.
now. Come on, because you've got a lot of stuff to set up.
Have I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, a couple rigs. Yeah. Anyway, we've got some pellet-wise. I've got some red pellets. So I've got some 2mm krill, which I've never used, but they smell nice.
I could do
so-
it. I could do with a few of them.
Yeah, so I've maybe sort of cab pot a few of them in, and I've got some 4mm somewhere. They're
Yeah, they're all right, aren't they?
bloodworm fish meal. They look alright. They look alright for hook baits as well.
Yeah, they do.
You could probably do with them.
I could do with a couple of them.
And then obviously we've got the ground bait. And
We'd like to share. We'd like to share a bait about.
you
No,
know,
we're not. I've just
we-
had the
we
nod.
Might be able to sneak it. And then it's got your face on again.
That's new.
For
That's
the,
the new.
for the hook.
That's a new picture as well. That is, or is it? Have a look at my neck. No, I ain't got no neck. So that's the old. I look a bit like Jamie Hughes there. That's pretty worrying.
Can't say that. Yeah, we've got some new krill. I don't think they're even
Hello.
out. They're not out, are they?
Oh,
So
no.
they might be alright over a few micro pellets. And some corn as well might be good on you.
They stink. They do, don't they?
Yeah. So I think we'll be alright.
So what are you going to
Obviously
do?
we've got plenty of hooks as well.
It's going to be difficult, isn't it? I think. I don't think the fishing's going to be easy. Do you?
No.
Do you think we've drawn the right end though?
The wind's coming down here, but it's cold, isn't it?
It is
I
cold.
think the matches I've fished lately, they've been out of the wind. So
Have you been drawing out of the wind?
yeah.
Well, let's say no more, really, ladies and gentlemen. You know what I mean? No, we really want to take these two out today because they've come here a little bit cocky this morning, haven't they? You can see Lee walking around like a goose.
Well, he's
you know.
only just woke up, haven't you? I've
I've
set
only
my
just-
alarm at 4 o'clock this morning to get here on
Yeah,
time.
what's it took him? 20 minutes.
Yeah, he's still
took
got
us-
sleep in his eyes.
This took us 2.5 hours.
Took you 2.5 hours.
And I'm not
Took
in the
me
mood.
3
I'm not in
hours.
the mood for failure. I've got 2 pints of white maggots in my van. You've all been laughing about it.
they're crawling everywhere.
Yeah, well, I've sorted some of them out. But yeah, I think we got. What do you think about my island chuck, Andy? Because you ain't never fished a state before, have you?
No,
Andy May reckons I was chucking in too close. I reckon that's all load of.
I think it's going to be deep over there.
It is
isn't
deep,
So
proper deep.
they'll want to be in the undercut, tight in. I
Are
think.
you actually allowed to chuck the feeder out with bait on it before we start?
Pre-bait?
To plumb up? Yeah, to plumb up.
Oh, I presume so.
Oh, that's right then. I've already done that, so that's handy. So that's it. I reckon we've done all right with actually bait-wise and where we've drawn. Yeah, so
Go mix it up.
hopefully, yeah, I'm going to mix the ground bait. I'll get me pellets right. I have actually done some of my normal pellets. Someone give me some information that Lee Carey was actually doing his own pellets.
We've just thrown them in the lake.
Oh, he's thrown them in the lake.
We-
Right, so he's tried to cheat. So he did actually try to cheat. See, this is what I've got to put up with week in, week out, Andy. I'm not having it. I'm not having it.
Don't play by the rules, do they?
Right, on that note, I'm going to mix my ground bait up.
So a little birdie just told me that Des is also cheating. So can't have one rule for one and another for him. So, you know, just while he's doing his intro, goodbye.
Okay, so drawing the feeder, I've got the same pellets and bait that Des has got for his feeder fishing session as well, which is great, makes it really interesting. These Banoffee sticky pellets are a really nice pellet, and on the bag the instructions is to add 150 ml of water and stir it round. That's almost like a guaranteed sticky guide, if you like. Now for me personally, I like my pellets soaked a little bit more than that, so I actually used my pellet wetter this morning. You can see that the remnants are still on there. Put all the pellets in the bag, dunked it in water for 1 minute, and then took it out and gave it a good shake. The reason for that is I just wanted all the pellets to get plenty of water, and then I've just left them in this bucket. I don't like leaving them in a small tub. I like them to be as sort of flat, as thin as possible, so you don't get loads of pellets gathering water. And the end result are some beautiful pellets, not as sticky as they maybe would be if you follow the instructions on the bag. So, you know, if you're using these pellets, you can actually prepare them in different ways, but they look absolutely brilliant. Robin red ground bait, gotta admit, I'm not a guy who uses red ground bait a lot, but I know how popular red and particularly robin red can be. So I've mixed this up, and whenever I'm method feeder fishing, I never mix it up really damp. I always go on the dry side, so I've just mixed that up nice and dry there, which means if I want to combine it with the pellets, probably like, I'm going to start almost 25% ground bait, 75% pellets. I do like a little bit of ground bait in amongst my pellets when I'm method feeder fishing. I haven't mixed it, like I say, particularly wet. I want to be able to squeeze it really tight, and then when it hits the bottom, almost open up straight away, because I've got a feeling there's going to be a few fish kicking around that island, so I'm going to want a nice little parcel of bait all the time. Now, I've actually left a little bit in the bag because I also like to add a bit of dry ground bait to my pellets at times, so I might even do a little bit of that. But that's how I prepared the bait to start with. I've got some 8mm donkey chokers, saying it might be a bit cold for them today, but they've gifted me in the bag. Maybe I'll feed a pole line with these, give myself like a bomb and pole line or something like that. And then I've got some 6mm band and wafters in the Power Scope X, which if I was picking any ones, that is what I would have picked for today. So really happy that I've got them in the bag. Yellow and red as an option. Got a few maggots for hook bait options as well. Really looking forward to it. Nice feeder day, and hopefully a win for Team North.
Go on, Zol, let's go through my tactics then. So, we're drawn peg 3 on the match lake. I quite fancy it actually. It fished well yesterday. Lots and lots of fishes were caught. Soon to be to the left, but I suppose Dad said it's going to be to the right with all the weights were, but you know, it's one of them. Let's go through tactics then. So, I'm going to start off long. I'm going to be feeding the krill, the 2mm pellets. So I've soaked some of them up, 2mm feed pellets, going to tap in like little balls of them so get straight down to the bottom, because it's very, very deep here, folks. It's like, I'm going to say it's like 7 foot. I haven't plumbed it up yet, but it's definitely 7 foot. It's a good depth. Over there, I'm going to put some bloodworm pellets. You know, I might end up pinging a few of them, the 4mm, put them on the band, because obviously they stand out lovely over them krill pellets. Short, I don't know, short. I'm definitely going to probably do something like 3 foot, maybe 3.5 foot down the edges, putting lots of ground bait in. So we're going to mix some of them up with, got some paste, so like nice and bindy, so we can like make a really over wet sort of like sticky mix that like settles in place, because the carp are huge in here, so we don't want that moving around. So that's what we'll do down the edge with my favourite corn over the top. F1 corn, love that. Now rigs wise, 416s on pretty much everything. I've got a Chianti for out long. I'm putting one of Desi's favourites on for the short line, again 416s F1 maggot, like top kitten 2, something like that. And I'm also going to do, folks, or you can tell, but don't tell them down there, I'm going to do a sneaky shallow line. So like, I'll be pinging a few pellets in, but I'm going to change it to like magwise later on. Might even put up a little bit of that bad boy on them, you know what I mean? Just like a little bit of a, ooh, what's that? And I'm going to use, where is it? Here it is, F1 shell. I'm going to put that on, sort of like set it 3 foot, constant lifting and dropping, because they did catch a shallow yesterday, folks. They caught on a jigger, but they've also caught on a proper shallow rig much later on. But I think with only us fishing here today, only us 4 on the lake, I think it's going to be silly. I think there'll be some decent weights today. Wind could play a factor with how far I fish out, but I'm going to try at 40.5 and see what happens. But yeah, got loads of bait to go through, got loads of bait to mix up. So Zolt, let me get on and mix it, and we're going to smash them southerners to bits. Yeah!
So I've got some ICS minis. I've already got some, but this is what we've been given today. I'm quite happy with them. So this is what I've been using quite a lot of my fish at the moment. But we've got a real nasty side wind here, and it's actually pretty cold. I'm going to actually probably put my coat on in a minute. I've just put my hands in the water and it's absolutely freezing. So I've got a 30 gram. Let's get that rubbish out of the way. Because I honestly, luckily I got a 20 and a 30. So I got the little mini ICS. So I'm just getting them out ready. Got a 20 gram. I prefer to fish a 20, but I think with that nasty side wind, I think I'm going to need to plant a 30 gram over there to keep it all nice and sort of nice, where I can tighten down to it and try and get the line down. I'll probably will start on a 30 gram. Got to find the mould for that. I'll find that in a minute. And I've also got the option of putting a ICM XR on, but I've also got ICS as well, which is going to get a 30 gram out in that. Because we all know you can go from one feeder to the next. Hopefully they're going to want a little bit of bait today, even though it's freezing cold. I was really shocked this morning how cold the water is here. Plan of attack, I've mixed my ground bait up. I've got some nice Pro Robin Red ground bait. I've mixed that, I've kept that quite dry, so like I do on all my method feeder fishing, I can make that bind on the feeder if I want to. I've got my Banoffee sticky pellets in there. They're going to be bang on. I've soaked them for normal, about 30 seconds to 45 seconds. They've been there for probably half an hour now, and they're absolutely spot on to go around the method. Little lengths, I've got my little Bandams ready. I've done a mix of sort of 70-30 micros to a little bit of that Pro Robin Red. As you can see in there, that's probably what I'll end up probably starting on, I would say. Just with a fraction of ground bait on it. I'll probably have to put a little bit of water in that before I start. But my peg, really, I've got a lovely peg. I've got a lovely point of the island. They reckon it's really, really good. I just got to go a bit careful because of that side wind. I'm going to have to cast towards that red cone to make it plop to the left of the island. So it's nice and simple for me. I'm going to lob some, because we are allowed to catapult, we are allowed to sort of throw bait in, even though I can fish a feeder. I'm definitely going to lob some gear down the edge, and if I need to, if it keeps going around over there, it just depends how hard it is, really. So yeah, I've got a little 9-foot Superior X rod, one of the new ones, nice and soft. I'll be bang on for today. 8-pound main line, normal stuff, 0.17 bottoms, because there is a lot of big carp in this lake. And it's nice and simple. So I've just got over to the island, down the edge. obviously Andy, he's fishing the pole. He's got a lot more to set up in me. He's obviously quite deep as well, this lake. It's sort of 7 foot deep. So it's just vertically, you can get it on a top kit. You probably want a top kit and a little bit really. But he's going out the full distance here by the looks of it, or is he coming down to me? Because hopefully we can, I don't know what he's going to do, really. He's looking at summit. But yeah, it's going to be good. I think it's going to be interesting fishing. I've never fished it before, so whatever happens, I'll have. Hopefully, we can get plenty of bites.
Right, I've got my bait. It's going to be quite simple, really. I've got some 2 and 4 mil red pellets. Hopefully, they're like red. The water is quite coloured anyway, so it should be good. And then I've got some ground bait and paste to mix up. They might even come in the edge, and I could mix some little balls of paste up. That might be good. And then got some hookers, some 4 and 6 mil, and some Faithful sweet corn, but just 1 tin, so I've got to make that last. Might just be for the hook. And then I've even got some Power Scope X Clear pellet oil for my pellets, just to make sure they sink, a bit of flavour. And then the rest of it is just rigs. So I've got plenty of options there. Plenty of hook bait options, some bands for hard pellets, that might be good. So I think I'm going to start on maybe pellets, see if I get some bites, and then I've also got the option of maggots as well. They kindly let us have maggots, so if all else fails, then I've got some maggots to play with and some nice rigs to fish with, so give it a go.
Team talk, team talk, team talk. Team talk, really important. Come on, talk to me. What's the plan?
You're fishing the ledger bomb, and I'm going to be welling in loads of pellets. And then magpies later on. Go on, Zolt.
We've only got one plan, haven't we? That is that I'm going to chuck it as far away from you as possible, and you're going to fish down here and catch lots of fish. That's basically our plan, isn't it?
I thought we were going like together in tag team.
Well, I
you're
thought
fill it up.
I thought you can loose feed some maggots down the side for me if you want, and I'll just lob my bum down there.
Yes, I like that, mate. Yeah, that's fine.
Mainly because I gave you my maggots and you gave me about 20 for the
That's
hook
all you need
back.
for the hook, mate.
Right.
The size of the carp in here.
So
20
what was
bites,
it? Single
mate.
maggot, 20 bites. Is that my goal?
You need to put 2 on, 10 bites, mate.
10 bites. All right, 10 bites.
Reuse them where possible as well. If they're not to be eaten,
Right.
use them,
Okay.
mate.
Okay. Is that the plan?
Right. Well, yeah. Now, no, serious. So, you're on the right peg.
Am I? Looks amazing.
It does look nice, but no, I think we want to be on the power in Desi's pegs. But it's one of them. We don't know. It's
No.
it's
Build it up.
basically.
Build it up more. I'm saying.
Yeah,
you said to me this morning 4 and 5. You messaged me the other day 4 and 5. You now told me 4 and 5, and they're on it. That's what we need to say, isn't it? Just make sure that goes on camera. That's
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, 4 and 5 are the best pegs in Staffordshire. 5's possibly the best peg in the whole country.
Yeah. Certainly north of England, isn't it?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
But you look at the results yesterday, and our pegs were very, very good.
No. And I haven't looked.
Yeah, we
no.
can't lie. I can't lie.
I think there'll be some fish. I think there'll be some fish at our end. What's very interesting is because it's colder, they all reckon the carp like to stay out the wind.
Yeah.
Which, if that's true, ours look great.
I'm not really geared up for carp, so I want to catch F1s.
Maybe we should split it. If I catch an F1, I'll pass it to you.
We
You
can
can have a
do that.
nice
We're
F1
having
net, and
tag
I'll have a
teaming
nice.
net.
Yeah, that's good.
I
That's
like
good.
that,
I
mate.
think that's very good. So that's our rough plan, isn't it?
Keep netting between us then, don't we?
That's good. That'd be really handy. Like her on a really long extension bar.
I might just try and launch it, see if we can get it in for the
No,
don't do that.
don't do that.
Okay,
so
it'd be good, mate. It'd be interesting. I think we'll start off slow and then.
Yeah,
And
I think
eventually-
with the size of the fish, am I being a bit more patient, or you think I still might need to be busy, or what do you think?
I reckon 8.5 minute Chucksley.
8.5 minutes.
8.5 minutes.
Right.
And most of your bites will come within sort of like 3 minutes.
What? Oh, I thought you were going to say 8 to 8.5 minutes is when my bites come. Is that the window?
That's it, mate.
Right, brilliant.
That's your opportunity.
Excellent. I'm ready for it.
I'm just going to well in loads of bait. It's per normal, folks.
Sounds great.
Go on, Team North.
Team South, are you ready? Team North, are you ready? All in!
So I'm going to tell you how I'm starting. I'm starting with a cup of tea. Them's the first rules. And what I've... it's quite an interesting peg, this one, because you can see where what the older island is, and then they've obviously extended that island at the end. And all around this bit where I'm fishing here, when you chuck out with your feeder, it's all like bobbly and bumpy and broken soil. I think fish absolutely love to come over it, no doubt about it. They don't care what the bottom's like. But obviously how your feeder sits and where it sits and the depth it sits in is all dictated by what it's like. So I chucked slightly to my left and it was like literally inches deep. You come slightly away to your right and it's deeper. So I don't really know where to cast. So all I can do is start straight in front of myself, where I think it's probably around, I would say, 18 inches, very, very, like really tight. And then very quickly, like literally within a foot, it's almost like 3 foot deep. So it obviously like sort of slopes away relatively steeply under the water, and it's a bit sort of bumpy when you go down. So what I've done, I've got the sticky pellets and always like a little bit of ground bait for carp. And I've got the Banoffee sticky pellets, and I've just put a handful of the Robin Red ground bait on them. And that's how I'm going to start my day. I like the attraction of ground bait, so I've got some ground bait here. And I'm going to use that to try and attract the fish in. And I'm just going to take it steady to start with. So I'm going to have like 5-minute casts to start with. I was going to cast a little bit more regular, but it's just cooling down. It's just, you know, I felt the water, it's really cold. So I don't think there's going to be too many proactive carp early doors. I've got a feeling that the carp are going to be a little bit steadier to start with. So 5-minute casts. I'm going to watch, you know, keep an eye on Des is the other end and he's feeder fishing. So I can keep an eye on him as my sort of guide to whether the fish are, you know, what they're doing. Andy's started obviously on the pole, he's in open water on the bottom, so that's a completely irrelevant guide to my feeder peg. So just going to steady away to start with, as tight as I can cast to the mud to begin with, and then if I feel like it's not quite right, or I feel like my feeder's moving, or I'm just not getting any indications, then I might either drop away from the island or move slightly, say, to the right or left. But we'll see how it goes, play it by ear. I've got 2 maggots on my hook to start with, because it's a safe bet for a carp or an F1, and we'll see what happens. So it's a dead simple tackle setup today. Whenever I'm on a commercial, anywhere with up to probably, I'd say, 30 metres, maybe even sort of 35 metres, which I've got to be honest, there isn't many islands on most of the commercials we fish that are further than that, unless you're on one of these great big lakes. So the setup's really simple. I've got 10-foot Superior X, and I've got 026 mainline on my Centris reel, because I feel like you need a strong main line when there's a chance of carp and all the rest of it. You don't need to be fishing really light lines when you're only chucking distance. If I start going over 30 metres, that's when I start looking at, say, 023, you know, and lighter as you get further. That's to sort of reduce the drag on the line, if you like. I've got a 30 gram ICS feeder, the small, not the mini. Want a little bit of bait. See my parcel there. And it's free running this setup. You are allowed elasticated here, but I'm only on a 10-foot rod, which I think is nice and soft, and I do a lot of free running fishing. So, you know, I wanted to start with that is the setup that I've gone for. And I've literally just set 2 of them. I've got an ICS stem on, so I can put a pellet feeder on. I can put like a little cage feeder on if I want to feed anything. I could put a bomb on if I want to chuck about. So I've got, it really means I can do anything I want just with one rod. But the rod's nice and soft. I've got an ounce tip in it. What I'm trying to do here is just sink the line, pop it on my 2 rod rests. When I'm carp fishing, I like to fish my rod quite straight. I don't like to fish my rod to the side so much when I'm carp fishing, because I'm fishing to an island. The fish actually can't go anywhere away from me, but I want to pick up solidly into the fish straight away. So that's why I've sort of set up like that. A really, really simple setup. Got that 520 reel. A lot of people ask me about reel size. They like a, you know, they like a 320 or a 420, but I just use a 520 for all my feeder fishing. I want a big spool. I want to wind in as fast as possible and then get back out. So dead simple day for me today. Dead simple tackle setup. Did want to have a nice day on the pole, but Andy's just lost one. Devastated. I can see he's he gave it there. Andy there, he gave it really, like, oh yeah, nobody likes to see that. And then when he swung his rigging, he had his teeth gritted. You could see the determination in Team North. He had lots, so hopefully he'll hook some more. But yep, simple setup for me today. Just got to load my feeder up ready. The key for me today is going to be finding where the fish are and just seeing how they want it with the feeder. Do they want more pellets, more ground bait, and just making those adjustments. At the moment, I've not even had an indication, so see how many casts it takes to get a bite. Nice start, second chuck, couple of minutes in, like a probably 3.5 pounder, something like that. Nice little common. Nice to get off the mark anyway. Always nice to give you a bit of confidence that might be a few fish kicking about. So nice, that was actually my first indication, just a straight pull round, so very nice indeed.
Go on then, tactics.
Go for it. Don't reveal any tactics, Andy.
I feel as though
Those Southerners have got good ears. What was that, Andy? F1?
F1, mate, £2 9 ounce.
£2 9 ounce.
I feel though, Lee, I feel I've fed as much as what you'd feed in a 5-hour match already, and we're only 15 minutes in.
Right, okay. Getting nice and excited, are you?
I'm getting a little bit giddy. You getting liners on that, Lee?
Do you know, the first 2 chucks, nothing until I got the fish, and I've had a couple of indications this chuck, which is obviously positive. So,
Oh, Lee, I can't look at you, mate.
you don't need to look at me, Andy. You concentrate on your float. I can look wherever I want. I'll tell you what, I'll look at you.
Do you look at me float, Lee?
I'll look at you, I'll look at your float. That's it, that's great. That's a good combination. Tell you what, Andy, that float's sitting lovely.
You see that bite then? See that indication
Don't
there?
strike at those, do you?
You see it?
Looks great, mate.
Had a bit of an inquiry then.
Looks absolutely great.
Right, so I started off, I put a few Marcos in, a few 4mm, and tipped them out long, and then short line I've just gone down the old maggot route. I've hooked one long and it fell off, and I've hooked another one and managed to get it in. Bit windy though. I'm glad I chose to fish 14.5. The reason I've gone 14.5 is because Andy's sticking a little bit further out than me. He's only fishing 13, so I feel I've got to try and compete with him and fish in that sort of same water. So that's why I've gone to 14.5, which isn't ideal in these conditions, but it's holding lovely, to be fair, that float. Yeah, so we started off on that. short line I'm hoping is going to come good. I put quite a bit of bait in already on that. I'm going to continue to feed that. Every time I come back out there, sort of every 5 minutes to feed it again. I'm going to give it 2 lots of sort of 70-80 maggots. I want to start catapulting out there, but with it being windy and, you know, the right bait, I think maggots would be better than pellets, catching everything. I think it's just going to be a bit too blustery for feeding maggots, but we'll see what's what. Andy's loose feeding there, he's just up one. I think he's gone down the maggot route. Down the edge I've put a little bit of ground bait in and some corn. Realistically though, with all these blooming professional skyliners here today, I don't think we're going to catch in the edge. Put some bait out there, see it's just going all over the place that. Mend it a bit. I'm going to watch on my float, see if we get any signs or inquiries as them maggots are falling through the water. Feeling I'll just be patient to start off with, not on that short line, but on that long line. Just be patient to start off with. Keep an eye on what he's doing. I know Andy's loose feeding. Fishing on the bottom. Obviously the beauty of loose feeding is you're attracting fishing. But it's deep, it's like 7 foot deep. And if you get them all in the layers, you can't really pin them anywhere, then you're going to get lots of liners. Odd far lucky. I have done a shallow rig, well, sort of to fish between 2 and 3.5 foot or something like that. And that's all they caught yesterday. But with this, as I said, the trouble I've got today is that wind. Windy! I want to come back and feed it again. But it's November, Andy. Stop feeding, Andrew. Go on, Lee. Go on, Lee. Team North.
Don't know where this fish is going. A little bit aggressive. Nice F1.
That's a nice.
Nice to get some bites on a feeder. You know, the water's really cold, so you're never sure what's going to happen.
Some bait in short.
Nice F1 there. Was told mainly carp. Andy's got one as well. Great for the north. Great for the north.
Little baby one. A little baby one.
Let's get him back over there. Oh, beautiful. Should have been a darts player, really. Although probably next chock I'll end up putting it up in the tree. So, lying down. I have been fired, just fired with a catapult. A few of those big 8mm pellets over it. Not a lot, just going to be nice and gentle. And I'm just chucking an odd little ball the size of a 50p piece, sort of 2 meters off down the edge, because if I need to, if Andy starts catching a few down the edge, I see Andy May's got a fish out long on the pole. Decent fish as well, that is. Yeah, decent F1. So what I'm trying to work out is, obviously I'll start on pellets like I normally do on the method, and then see what happens. I want to try and target a few carp if I can. I've got my little hook baits, I've got some red maggots, got some bandams. Obviously I can put one of those 8mm big pellets on, so I can just change my hook length to suit whatever I want to fish with. I think it's going to be quite difficult, to start with, because it is really cold. I've actually just put my coat on because just sitting there with a hoodie on, it was just a bit too nippy. I was into mines really, whether to chuck to the point of the island or whether to chuck it in front of me. The only thing is, in front of me there's quite a lot of cover, and sometimes this time of year that's where the fish hang out. The point looks great, but obviously it is winter time now, so it might be a bit different. But it's early days. I said Andy May, I think, lost a fish. He's got one F1. Be nice to get Andy to get going on that pole. Another little indication then. I'm just looking at the other options I've got. I've got some 16. I've got some 18 KKMs as well. So if I want to put like a single maggot on, especially if we're F1 fishing, I can just take them out, cut the band off, and put a single maggot on. But I'm just sticking with what I got on at the moment. How many's that, and 2?
2.
2?
Yeah, is that your second? That second one?
Yeah, I got snagged up on the one and snapped me up mainline in some roots. So I got my second fish on now. Unfortunately, on the cast after I had my first one, I cast a little bit close to the island. I had a bite and it went straight in the roots. And actually snapped the old main. The old main line was a bit smashed up, so it must have took me through some roots. So I've had to put another rig on. I've got another nice F1 there. You see me ground bait, still a little bit of ground bait left on my feeder, so. I'm putting down for £2. So it's looking alright at the moment. Andy's got 2. I think he's fishing pellets on the deck. So it's on combined weight. So I just add everything together. I think Lee's got one. Andy's got one, and we've got, there's 2. There's 4, 2 at the moment. Yeah, that's it. So I'm a bit off the island there because I just think I don't want to get too close. It's a bit awkward because I'm chucking on an angle, and I don't like doing that. Can be a bit awkward. But I literally had that bite within 10 seconds of it hitting the bottom. So I'll get my mould all loaded up ready, like I do. Chuck a little bit of a few micros down the edge. And the bites I've had 3 bites, and they've not been really aggressive. They've been like sort of pretty, I thought some of them were liners. I think that probably tells you how cold the water actually is.
See what that was? An aggressive bite, Andy, that one. It was aggressive. Went from absolutely nothing to rod at critical. Seems to be a few, I think Des is catching some F1s up that top end. He certainly had more fish than me. This is only my 3rd fish. Not really getting many indications, just an odd, and then just this pull round. So I'm hoping this is going to be a carp. It might be an F1, but I'm really hoping this is going to be a carp because that could indicate my day, really. Feel like it's going to be carp if I catch them here, and probably will need those for the team. Probably will need a few carps. It's definitely F1s Des is catching because he's sort of winding them in and they're coming in nice and fast, but hopefully this is a carp. Let's find out. Probably just a feisty F1. I think it is. feisty, whatever it is. It's had its Weetabix, Andy, this one. No, just it's feisty. I think it's a yeah, big F1. No, it's a carp. It's a carp. It's a carp. Carp are going to be the target, I think, for me today. So, splitting my fish 3 nets today with the net limits in place here. It's exciting fishing when you're fishing like this because you're waiting for that mad sort of pull round, you know. And I think if the carp, we're fishing sort of middle of the day today, which isn't the best carpy time, so I'm hoping that the carp have a bit of a chew at some point. And I always find with the method, once they start having a proper chew, the carp, they commit themselves and they're easier to catch. So let's hope that that is the case.
So what have we had? We've had 5 ones on the maggot line. We are 40 minutes in. I'm just going to put a little bit of baiting down the edge. So ground bait and a few micros with a little bit of corn. A little bit further, about there. See if they come into that. Can't see him doing, but you never know. I'm going to put a few more Magway short. I can't wait to get on this short line. I'm going to give it till 12 though. It's important that you go in every now and again with a pot and feed it nice and accurate. But other than that, I'm just welling in maggots left, right and centre. It's alright out there, it's steady away. So 5 F1s, one's just fell off. Powers, I think Powers fish are a little bit bigger than mine, which you'd expect. Pellet fish over maggot fish. I'm still putting a bit of micro in out there, but filling my pot up with maggots. Just putting a few micros in over the top as well, just to keep them fish reaching, basically. Loose feeding wise, I say I want to loose feed out there, but it's just too windy with maggots. So I'm reluctant to come shorter. I didn't want to go down that shorter route. Can you hear me? Hear me now? I'm just waffling, aren't I? Oh, I'm just waffling, folks. I love waffling. Waffle, 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 waffle. Oh, me ball. Better. Sat on the left one then. Do apologise.
So what's that on? 3 now?
3 now, yeah. All
On
on hard
pellets?
pellets.
Pellet.
Yeah, them red ones.
What's Andy May fishing? Maggots, isn't he?
I think he's fishing micros and maybe soft pellet.
Oh, is he?
Ooh.
It's not really happening on this though, to be honest. Not like yet.
They'll come.
You getting many indications then?
Yeah, I'm missing a few bites to be fair, but the wind's making it really awkward.
Yeah.
It's quite deep as well, so. I think if it was a bit warmer, we'd catch shallow. Might even catch shallow later on. But
Yeah, he might. It's bloody cold though, isn't it?
that one does.
Yeah, boy.
Get in there.
I'll just drop that a little bit shorter. Go on, Andy.
There's one.
It's a double up. It's a double hook up.
They're coming to it now. That might
Go
even
on,
be a
Ann.
carp.
Ain't messing about.
He's a bit angry.
Carp or F1?
Carp, I think.
Carp. Do like a double look up. Another little F1.
Oh no.
They're starting to. There's a couple of northern heads nodding up there, Andy. Oh, Andy, come on, mate.
Lost it, didn't I?
You wouldn't do that in a normal match.
This is a normal match.
Was it fouled?
Must have been.
Well, he's lost that one. Well, we've lost one each, so I can't argue with that. That's lovely, that. It's like a metre and a half off, but just want to get, just feels I want to get a little bit closer than that. And the one thing for certain, the bites I've had them pretty quick. Literally less than like a minute, even though it's freezing cold. So obviously at the moment, sticking with me micros and ground bait, but as we all know with F1s, even in the winter, it might be worth, I'll have a cast in a minute with just neat ground bait, because if that's melting off the feeder really, really quick, it just might be better. Oh, Lee's got one on now. Ah, hello, that'll do. That's what we want. Definitely got to pull a little bit when I hook one out, because there's them roots. You can see by the islands, them big trees, all the roots are all going to be coming out into the lake. One big carp's going to make a big difference here today, I think. Put them down for £1. So I've just put that bait on a little bit softer. Yeah, that's where we want it. That's perfect there. Just trying to chuck about a metre. It's like trying to chuck near the island but not in the roots, or near, not, it's like you want to be close to the roots.
So we're roughly an hour in, and the peg's not developing how I would have hoped at the moment. I've just had 2 or 3 quick chucks with ground bait and caught an F1 straight away. It's so hard to know what it's like out there, because it's clearly like up and down and rocky, and I think that the fish are just a bit finicky. I'm not really getting many indications at all, which is a little bit concerning. I thought after the start I would get some, but it's not very deep there when I'm chucking close. And my feeling is at the moment that those carp aren't coming into the shallow water. I know that Des is catching a few fish down the other end, but it's a deep island here. So where he chucks against the bank, it's really deep. So I'm sort of like wondering whether I come away a little bit and take a few F1s, or sinking the line there, and I had a drop back. So, and that was a tighter cast as well, like a really tight cast where, like I said, I felt it was in shallow water. So I think if the fish come into that shallow water, it'll be absolutely brilliant. It's just, you know, almost like that. That's the most encouraging sign I've had yet. You know, a bite that fast. But a little bit more ground bait in as well. I've just got a little tub on my side trainer. I keep playing with it just to try to find what might be right. Frustratingly pulled off there. Change of hook as well, I think I'm going to do. Didn't want that to pull off, did I? Got my last fish in a snag. My hook length's fine. Just don't know if my hooks are maybe blunted a little bit or something like that, so I'm always proactive to change if that's the case. I just had a faller off for Andy. Carp as well. Yeah, carp. Fell off.
Another F1. Just switched to a cad pot as well as loose feeding because I was struggling a little bit with the wind. But I'm sticking with the hard pellets because it's meant to be a... Ooh, caught a bit of line there. It's meant to be a good lake weight wise, so I'm fishing for a bigger weight than perhaps what's happening at the minute. But I just feel like if I stick with hard pellets, there's a chance of catching better fish and a bigger weight than perhaps putting in a few micros and waiting for a bite. So I'm just trickling a few hard pellets in, make a bit of noise, and lay my rig over the top. If I don't get a bite in a little while, I'll ping a few over the top with a catapult, and hopefully I'll draw a few fish in the peg. It was a bit of a slow start, but starting to get a few bites now. I'm also feeding maggots in short. Oh, there's one. There you go, they're coming straight to the pellets. Got a few more in my pot, so I'll sprinkle them out. Yeah, so if I keep ticking over on this line, catching a few on hard pellets, hopefully the last couple hours they'll come close in, and that's when hopefully we'll get a really big weight, or maybe maggot short, or even down the edges. But we haven't seen any carp yet. There's meant to be a few in here, so hopefully a few of them later on, and we'll get a big weight together. But these F1s are nice size anyway. 2 or 3 pound. Can't even get my hand around it. There we go. So repeat the process. I'll put a fresh pellet on actually. Got that GPM 18 011 with a band on. Just fill my pot again with a few 4mm bloodworm pellets. And see if we can get another.
So, update, we are hour and I'll do it from what we've got left. We've got an hour and 10 minutes left. Can't work out how long we've had, and it's not going right well. The runs have stopped. I've lost my last 5 fish, I think. They just fell off. Whether foul up to not, I don't know. But nothing seems to be drawing them in out there. I'm relying heavily on my short line coming good. I mean, the beauty of that short line, you only need 30-40 minutes on them to do a really good weight. So yeah, with the depth and how windy it is, I'll change from maggots out there to pellets. I had a bite straight away and it fell off. I was getting the odd little indication as well, probably from a little roach. I've tried it short twice. First time didn't have a bite after an hour. Left it another 20-25 minutes, went on it again and had 2 roach and missed a bite, which wasn't ideal. So I've gone back out there again on pellets, and as I say, I've lost one, and that's been it. I thought we'd be getting a few more bites, to be fair, but it's just not meant to be. I'm going to keep persevering. As I say, I'm relying heavily on that short line. I think I'll catch on it. Well, I plumbing hope I'm catching it, otherwise I've been a complete and utter letdown, and I don't want to be. Andy's, what? He's probably got a dozen F1s. I've got 6 or 7, I think. I just looked at another one. He's just lucky, isn't he? So lucky, folks. Like, really lucky. Blooming. It's weird, I was going here. Started off, oh, unlucky. Nobody! He's lost that one. Weird, I was going here. Been any signs? I've been putting in sort of like a dozen or so pellets. Loose feeding, pretty regular out there. Only sort of like 6 or 8. I'm not even getting any indications or anything. Indications. I'm getting nothing. Keep changing where I'm fishing as well. You know, on the joint and a bit past it. It's just not happening at the minute. But I say I've got every confidence in that short line. I've put, what have I gone in with? I've gone 2 pots of like ground bait and micros and a bit of corn down this edge in like 3.5 foot. But I can't see him coming in it. I really can't. But you never know. It's fishing, you never ever know. It's right weird out there. Come on. Got a little bit windy before, I won't lie. Well, don't then. Well, I'm not then. And persevered with it a little bit. And that's when I had my bite, just as it was dragging through. So I've tried lifting and dropping a bit more often, but to no avail. I think I got a little bit giddy too early. As per usual, folks. Lots and lots of magpies and pellets in. And we're suffering now. But short line, short line, short line, think the short line, short line, short line, short line.
Well, you've been fishing for just over an hour now, and it is really slow. How many fish you got, Anne?
I ain't counted. I've clicked about £16, I think. But it's
18?
gone 16, but it's gone really
Yeah.
quiet. for
Well,
some
Andy said
reason.
he's got like 16 pounds. I reckon I got about 12. I've lost, I lost one in a snag. But it is actually really slow. It's really close. I think Andy's probably got, Andy May, I would say, I've seen him land sort of 4 or 5 fish. I would say me and Andy Power are just in front at the minute, but there's not a lot in it. And I thought that point peg where I've got would be really, really good. And the weird thing is for me is all the bites that I've had really have been like really quick. A bit like summer fishing where you chuck it out, you sink the line, and within like a few seconds you get a bite. But Andy, it's gone dead now, hasn't it?
Yeah, the wind's getting up.
There we
Struggling with it out there.
Bit of constant. Oh, hello.
We've all gone on your feeder line there.
Well, that's good for us, really.
Get on with it, get it in.
Hey? That feels like a better fish. I've had one big F1. Obviously, it is a bit slower. I think that water, when I put my hand in the water, I thought that was really cold this morning, though, and that water, didn't you?
Yeah.
Cold
Definitely
and what?
warmer back home, isn't it?
Yeah, this northern stuff ain't good for us, is it?
Nah.
Me and Andy are used to like sunbathing this time of year down south. Well, I was really surprised that how cold it actually was. And I thought Andy was going to carry on catching, and it has gone really quiet. But at the moment, we're doing all right. What do you reckon Andy May's got?
Probably about the same as me, but I think his fish have been bigger.
Has he?
Yeah.
This feels like a good fish. I need this one. All F1s at the moment, though. No, I don't think anybody's caught a carp. I'm just messing around like Andy is. Andy's feeding pellets. That's a better one. That's the ones we want. Lovely big F1, that. I actually nearly lost my rod just a minute ago. I looked round to Andy, I looked back, and my rod was like dead straight. It's a good F1. £3 that. So we're just, I think we're in front. I think we're in front at the moment. Oh, don't you?
Just, I think, yeah.
Yes, it is close. And we aren't, we're not, this is like, we're not messing around. This is like a proper head-to-head north versus south.
Is it?
We both want to win this. And at the moment, it's a bit closer than what I wanted, to be honest. I thought me and Andy would be a little bit further ahead than what we would like. Andy's just gone short now. But I did see Andy May go short, and he never caught one. There's like a little sweet spot. There it is. That's that sweet spot. It is just like a metre. If I come 1.5 metres off, I haven't caught. I think I've had one fish. that little spot there. I'm setting me, all I'm really learning at the moment from the stopwatch is not to leave it. There we go. That little sweet spot there. Weird, isn't it? How you can like find that little spot. It's weird, and if I chuck it like a metre off, but I'm not as good at you as casting, am I? So.
All right. Do you want to swap?
No, you carry on, mate.
Ah.
We'll get about £100 in there, then we'll have a change around.
All right. I'll watch one of your videos how to do it, but in the meantime.
So I'm hoping now, building it up. And this is what you've got to do with F1 sometimes, is they build them up and then they start having a go. They're definitely coming to the feeder noise, definitely. I've just put some... I'm just messing around with things. I always do when I'm fishing the Method. Just started trying double maggot as well. So I'm putting some normal pellets on first. But I'm trying to crank that first lot of bait I'm putting on the feeder. I'm trying to crank that on. And then putting a bit of loose over the top. But not so much. I'm trying to put not loads of bait on either. So it's not actually piled high. Right, got to concentrate here. Yeah, that's a little bit. Probably a couple of feet to the left, that. It's definitely not. I don't think it's as good as what we thought it was going to be. You know, there's only 4 of us on the lake, and I thought it was going to be really good. It's good, really, because it's making it really close. I mean, I clicked sort of £17 now. Andy's probably got the same. He says that Andy May's got the same, and it depends on what Lee's got. I don't know what Lee's caught, but it is mega close.
It's quite hard at the moment. It's quite a difficult peg to read because I'm not exactly sure where the fish are. Don't think they want to be right up against the muddy bank, and if they do, they're just sort of coming in quickly. And also, if I chuck it right against the bank, it's almost, as you can see it there, I think it's so steep that it's just bouncing back down. It'd be okay if you could sort of like push a rig into it, but so I've literally just brought it like probably 2 foot back, just to try and sort of fish a little bit cleaner on the bottom. That was my first chuck there. So I was just aware that, you know, sort of everybody told me the main species was going to be carp for me on this feeder. And I felt the carp, in my experience, carp always want to be right against the bank. That's where you tend to catch them. But if the bank's too steep, and it's weird, like unless you can go along with the plummet, I spent a lot of time before the start, like chucking around, trying to find the exact place to fish, or what I felt was the right place to fish. And it's really hard to decide where that might be. This is a carp. So that's really good news. They're not massive fish, but they're nice fish. And that's really good news that it's gone round there, because I just feel like I'm fishing more there. I feel like I'm just sort of trying to learn the peg. We've only got a short session today. It's not a long match, so with it being like a 3-hour match, you haven't got a lot of time to think and learn your peg and then have a good second half. I'm trying to sort of learn almost in a speeded up version, and we're an hour in now. So although I have caught a few fish, I'll be happy if I can get a little run here. Like I said, it's probably about 18 inches, 2 foot away from the island, like cleanly away from the island, it can often be a really good place to chuck. It's good if you're, on the fisheries where you're going to, you might feel like that's a good place to cast because it's a little bit cleaner. Like there. Really happy with that. It feels like it's not particularly deep because my feeder's not going in and spending ages sinking. Probably should have fished there a little bit. I started there and then I sort of went in search of the fish a little bit tighter to the mud because I was almost convinced that was going to be a better spot. So let's see what happens now. That was a relatively quick fish. It'd be nice if we could catch 3 or 4 at that sort of speed, If we get 3 or 4 like that, then we're going to have a chance. I'm not sure. Obviously, the only other feeder angler today is Des, so he's the one I'm sort of like keeping half an eye on to see what fish he's catching. And they do look like F1s. I could be wrong, but it looks like Des is catching F1s. So you'd think that the carp would weigh a little bit heavier. So even though I haven't got as many fish, I think I've got 6 fish, 3 carp and 3 F1s. So let's see what happens in this next little spell. Look, another indication there. So that's good news. They're obviously quite happy to be like that little bit off the island, and just had those 2 or 3 quicker chucks as well. I felt like maybe not enough bait had gone in for carp as well. So I was trying to be patient, but before you know it, if you start being too patient, before you know it, it's gone away from you and you can't learn your swim. So being like a little bit more proactive and in and out, I'm hoping that I can get a little run together, but we'll see.
Andy,
Oh, no.
what is going on? He's smiling, ladies and gentlemen, but and what's happening now then? You've just started catching again, haven't you?
Oh yeah, the wind's dropped a little bit and I can fish properly now. So.
Because it was really, really quiet for both of us. The good thing is, Andy May is struggling. Lee's getting some on the end on the feeder. I'm catching a few on the feeder. And Powers has just started having a nice run. So what's that, man? They just come on the feed, you reckon?
No, I think I can just present it better. It was just too windy before.
Yeah.
I was missing bites because
You're missing bites now.
There's another one.
Yeah, so Andy's he's just got one on immediately, see? Which is good news for both of us, really. And this is what happens on these venues. It's like, he's just, I don't know, was that fouled hooked? He's laughing. I don't know why he's laughing. He's just lost 2 and 2 chucks. So talk us through it, Anne. What's happening?
I've tried short. I've had a few indications on it, but I don't think they're going to come on the feed there till later. And I've just kept trickling it in out there. There's another one on
now, aren't you?
And they're starting to feed a little bit now. Mr. May's not catching.
Air rig pellet. Huh? Air rig pellet.
Yeah. On the ready tied ones. GPM 011, 18.
I think at the moment, we might be ahead, but because I've not seen Andy May catch. He caught a couple at the start. They were sort of neck and neck, him and the 2 Andys. I think Lee's having the same sort of issue as what I'm having. Get an odd fish, but you can't really get them going. They won't stay. No, Andy's just netted that, which is Andy. It's weird, even though they're not really feeding on the method, it's like I can't get a bite leaving it for too long. I've had a couple of bites after sort of 2.5 minutes. But there we go, I think that's a bite, yeah. So that was like 2 minutes. So that's nice. Me and Andy's just had a fish. Andy May's on panic. He's on panic mode, old May. He's panicking. He's going down the edge, look. He's on panic mode. Andy! Andy! Get down the edge. You're going to have to get down the edge in a minute. Oh, get him going, don't worry. I've had one little carp. I've just got to keep plodding along. Because I think Andy's pole line, which happens a lot on these F1 venues, especially when the water's cold, they can just switch on so quick. And I think if he starts to see Andy May's gone down the edge now, which is, I think he's on red alert. He's on panic mode. And to be honest, is it going to work? I'm not sure. Would it be in this cold? Hopefully not. It is cold, ladies and gentlemen. So right, trying to get it in that sweet spot again, which is just there. We're very close to it. Andy's got another one on now. Go on, Andy! Just got to keep plodding along now. Oh yes! Come on, Andy! A double look up again for the Southern boys. You all right, mate? How are you? You all right? Just keep looking down this way, mate. I wouldn't bother. I'd face towards Lee if I was you. It's a lot better. Oh, look, the pole's going back fast. Even Zolt, the cameraman's laughing now. It's nice to actually win some. It's nice to win some actually, Andy, isn't it? I mean, obviously Andy's been in virtually every single final this year. It's like synchronised F1 fishing, Andy, isn't it?
It's lovely, isn't it?
Eh? I'll say that again, we'll probably lose. So I'm just trying to compact that as much as I can on, then put a little bit in the mould. I'll definitely be coming back here. It's a beautiful little fishery. Right, just concentrate for me. Get that in that sweet spot again. Oh yes. Got my eye in now. Let's get that line down. Little tweak of the reel. Just keep my eye on Andy. Thing is, like Andy May's gone short, he's gone down the edge, it ain't happening. But that can change really quick. So we've got just under an hour to go, and at the moment I would say me and Powers are probably leading the way. I think I've stopped clicking, I forgot to click, but I reckon I've got 30 odd pound. What weight you got, And?
I'm not sure now, to be honest.
35 pound?
No, not that much. Maybe
Eh?
26, 30 maybe. Might be
Yeah,
wrong.
so I reckon we got 60. I would say we got 60 odd pound. I reckon. I've just seen Andy May go short, because I'm keeping my eye on him as well, because obviously Paris is fishing the pole, so I can have a good look around and try and keep Andy informed if Andy May starts catching short. But he's just caught a little tiny roach on his maggot line, I would say. I've got the option of going down the edge. I have been feeding down there, but looking around at the moment, I'm just going to stick with doing what I'm doing. They're definitely not coming on. Even Andy's had a little run then. He's just missed a bite then, I think. But as soon as that wind gets up, that wind kills it, doesn't it? The pole.
Yeah.
Just ruins it, because their MF ones are so crafty. Lee Carey at the end, he's definitely had it, you know. Oh, there's Andy, got another one on now next to me, that's sound. That's just what we want. It's like now, I should have felt like that was absolutely bang on that cast. I ain't caught one. But I'm not going to leave it, it's been out here for 2 minutes 20. Lee Carey's got one on now on the end. Not a lot in it, not a lot in my feeder line and Lee's feeder line. Lee's out of the wind, sort of mostly out of the wind where he is, where I'm not. Just willing it to go round. It's lovely when it goes round, eh? How big was that?
£3,
Was it?
maybe 4.
Lovely.
So half an hour left, 35 minutes left. Caught my short line, had a couple of roach, and then I've had an F1. I'm like, oh my days, get ready. And I've not had another one, which isn't ideal. That's all I can rely on now, coming good folks. I'm going to have one more little go out long, but it's not going to happen. Just vacated, just completely gone. Last time went out long, about half an hour ago, didn't have a bite. Change it to pellets, hard pellets, 4 mils, and it's just no. It's obvious the fish have just waddled off down the windward end of the lake, and it's just got worse and worse here. I say I had a little bit of hope with that F1. Missed a few bites, but there must just be roach down there. But it's the right time of day now. We should be getting bites on it, and it's the only way I'm going to pull anything back for us. There's the miles in front of them. Oh, he's just lost it. Nobody likes to see fish being lost, do they? So yeah, so I was saying, when I have one more little babby go out there on pellets, see if we can nick an F1 or 17. And then I've got to realistically spend the last sort of 20 minutes there. Oh, here we go. We winged that one on, didn't we, folks? Come on. Get some maggots in. Got to stay here, haven't I? What's the point in going out long? I've got to stay here. Got to stay here. Get some magpies in. Come on. They rock up here. They're usually like £4 or £5. Well, this isn't a £4 or £5. This is like £2.6. Let me see it. It's £2.6. Let me see it. It's £2.6. We want the great big £4 or £5 ones, or we want them double figure carps. Although double figure carp would probably reach the island on my dear. Come on, Lee, we're having it. Oh, he got me right on. Whoa, I won't tell you where. Scooped him in a little bit hard then, folks. I won't lie. But they are considerably bigger short. So I'll try and keep it quiet so the power doesn't hear that I've gone short and follow suit. No, he's still out long. That'll do. That'll do. He's still out long. He's not seen me go short. Because I am inconspicuous. Right, come on. This is what we want. This is what we want, folks. Come on, the fishies. Let's have another one there. It's just a patient game, isn't it? I say it's right time of day. So I'm obviously feeding by pot to like really zone them in, but then I'm loose feeding as well to obviously draw them in. Feeding about a foot to the right of where I'm fishing, just because of this slight well, it's going with the wind, which isn't ideal. If I can I can put a good run together. I'm going to commit myself now, folks. I'm not even going to bother out there. It's pointless. We go out there, it ain't going to be quick enough, and the fish aren't going to be big anyway. Whereas if... Oh, I thought that was going to be another F1, but it's a little Bobby Roach. Never mind. Never mind. Little Bobby Roach. Little Bobby Roach. Just need to keep persevering. Lots and lots of magpies. Lots and lots of magpies. I wish should have gone down the pellet. No, pellet route out there. Should have tried pellets out there, but I only had one of them. I had a quick little cheeky look down this edge in like 3.5 foot. But nothing again. It's too early for all that. Just gotta hope that we get a few of them big bronze thing. Oh, there's something on the drop there. It might have been over a double figure carp back now, mightn't it? Ooh, that'd be nice. We're going now and catch a big double figure. Yes, please. Be seeing you. Come on, the magpies. So yeah, so obviously I'm still loose feeding to draw them in, but then that pot just zones them exactly where I want to go. Exactly where I want to go. Not where I want to go, where I want the fish to go. Not where I want to go, I'm going fishing, aren't I? Fishing, aren't I? I mean.
There we go, look at that, look. It's literally, as soon as it hit the bottom, got one on. Proper weird. Lee Carey's got a smallish carp, I think. Good F1 that. That's what we want. That's bigger than Lee Carey's carp, that. Who wants a carp when you catch an F1 like that? Oh, worst cast I've done today, that.
Last time you were with me, I came a little bit away, and again it just seems like, I'd say probably like a foot, between a foot and 18 inches. And I know that sounds really precise, but it depends what sort of venue you're on. If you're on a venue that's nice and flat, it doesn't seem to matter as much. But when you're on a venue like this, or a peg like what I'm faced with today, finding that sort of critical point, I think so important. And I'm happy now. I'm happy that is probably the best spot to fish. I've got 50-50 ground bait and pellets, which definitely seems better than pellets. I started with just pellets with a tiny bit of ground bait, but that extra back ground bait seems better. I had a few casts with just pellets and never had a bite. So I'm just trying to whiz this in, almost like I say, like about a foot off the island. That's when I'm at my happiest. That last fish, probably I was a minute into sinking the line, and the reason is the slope is so steep. I don't want to put any tension on the feeder that allows it to sort of bounce or slip or do anything. Now, you could fish like a
probably even a 45 gram feeder here today, which wouldn't be a bad move, but they go in a lot noisier, obviously a heavier feeder, and there's no wind on the water where I am. So if it was if it was windy or choppy, absolutely no doubt I'd have a 45 on today. But it's not. So you can see I've just taken so much time. Even then, right when I put the rod on, it just moved about 2 inches, which, you know, as that means it's probably just slipped my feeder like 2 inches. I'm not happy with it, but I don't tend to be, I don't want it to move, but 2 inches isn't the end of the world. Because obviously all your bait is still there in a package. So I'm just running a little bit low on my pellet and ground bait mix. So I'm going to put a big handful of pellets and a big handful of ground bait in there. Mix the two together. Just check that I'm happy with the ratio. Didn't quite get enough ground bait in my hand there, I don't think. I'm just going to dampen that up a little bit because the ground bait that I mixed was nice and dry, so I had versatility. But that's the happiest I've been with where I'm casting now. I feel like I've sort of, you know, it's not great on the pole. Andy and Andy aren't really getting loads of fish. So every fish is going to count. Like I say, it's a short match. I love a bit of competition. It's great to have a bit of friendly competition. I feel like the way Andy's fishing for us, he could have a run of those big F1s at any time. Happy with that now. And you know, the way I'm fishing, if I, you know, those 2 carp in 2 chucks were probably 2 for £10. So you've probably got to catch 5 or 6 F1s to get to that weight, to be honest. So that's good. That's good. I'm happy. I'm settled. I think I'm comfortable casting now. I've thought about moving around, but you know, I've learnt this little spot now, so I'm going to have to almost like, yep, that's where I'm going, and I know that the carp are happy to come there. So if I can get another little run, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, come on.
Go on,
There's
Dave.
10 minutes to go now, I think. Yeah, we got just over 10 minutes, Anne. What weight do you reckon you got?
I don't know, I've stopped clicking.
Yeah, so did I for some reason. So did I for some reason. I don't know why. How many nets? Have you split your fish?
I have, yeah. I've got 31 pound on my clicker, but I don't know how many I've missed.
You're beating Andy, though, aren't you, next door?
I think so, no, yeah. He's not caught for a long time.
He's not talkative. Something's happened. Because that's really unusual, isn't it? Yeah, go on, Andy. So at the moment, I think we're doing all right. It's been tricky. Really tricky. I've actually lost 2 or 3 fish today, a couple in snags, where they've I've had the bite and they've gone round to the island. But me and Andy, we're like a well-oiled machine, Andy, aren't we?
I don't know about that.
GTX. It's very quiet up on the, very quiet up north at the moment. Isn't it, Anne?
What's that?
It's very quiet up north at the moment.
It is a bit quiet.
I'm not sure why. But anyway, you know, it has been quite tough. I've just gone neat pellets at the moment, so then Banoffee stickies. And my last 2 bites have been on that. You can tell when the feeder goes in that I've sort of cancelled out the ground bait, 'cause it goes in like a stone. Just to try that. It's ever so strange. I've not really had that in the winter, to be honest, where you cast out and get a bite quick and then you don't get a bite, but you can't keep casting. If you keep casting like every 2 minutes, you don't get a bite at all. It's like you've got to like leave it, let them settle, let them come in, leave it for 4 or 5 minutes, and then cast in, and you might get one. I think there's fish in your peg most of the time. It's just they're a bit crafty. But most bites are coming within either a few seconds, and I'm not caught a big weight. I mean, when you're talking about casting and getting a bite really quick, you think you're building up a real big weight. It ain't been like that. Mr. Powers has just gone in. What's that, short again?
Yeah, I just saw Andy have one short.
Yeah, I seen that.
So there's only 5 minutes left. Hopefully if I sneak this one in quietly, there might be another one for me on this short line. If I don't make too much splashing and disturbance. Ooh. Where are you going? Oh no.
Are you kidding me?
Power.
You fouled hooked, you got a quaver, haven't you? Oh, just look round. Andy's lost his. He's had a bit of a mare today, haven't you? You've had a bit of a mare, Andy, today.
I have, but luckily,
Eh?
you're
Have I helped you out?
you're doing a good job, aren't you?
First time ever.
You're always on the end peg as well, aren't you?
Well, that's because you drew. It was never going to happen otherwise. And we drew next door to each other. I mean, what's the chances of that? Hope this is a great big one, decent one. That'll boost the old weight up a bit, that one. It's probably getting on for £3. If I get it out. Do have fight in here, to be fair, for F1s. I think because of the depth of water. It's a beautiful coloured lake. I think we all thought it was going to be absolutely solid today. It's actually been better for a match, I think, when it's like this. Probably £2.5 of Aaronbrook F1. Look at him. Right chunk that. Let's see if I can get one more cast in before we finish.
Andy, if we're gonna win, we're leaving this late.
Yeah.
Like really late. Like unless we steal one of their keep nets, I'm saying we're not winning. What do you reckon?
I think you're right, Lee, to be fair.
What's happened to this short line?
It's not really come good, has it?
No.
False promise, mate, false hope.
I caught a couple of fish.
I was convinced last hour, mate, we'd catch on it.
Yeah, I caught a couple of fish when I moved. They're just backing away so fast, you know. A couple of fish and a few snags. Moaned one on, you see, just for us.
Oh, go on, Lee.
Oh no, moaned one on and off.
You fella? Oh, no. Yeah.
Unfortunately, that's been the nature of it over there, hasn't it?
They just vacated us, haven't they?
Yeah. Never mind. See if we can catch a couple of carp to finish.
I need 2 15-pounders.
Each.
Maybe 2 17-pounders now.
A little bit close to the eye than that one. Go on, hand.
Well, it's been a frustrating finish. I've cast to the right hand side and I've hooked a fish every single cast, but there's a load of, like, if you look across to the island where the stuff's broken into the island, it must all be laying there. So when I plumbed up this morning,
I figured if I cast in front of myself and it was all clean, but to the right, literally it was a job to wind one back, like even my bomb. Anyway, after like 2 hours, I'd only caught like 4 or 5 fish, so I've cast to that side for the last hour, and you know, if I've had 15 casts, I've hooked 15 fish, but I probably only landed 7 or 8, and that's because when you hook them, every single one you get like a little run, and then your rod's locked solid, and then it bounces over and comes off. So, you know, I don't know. I don't really know what the answer is. I've got to be honest. I just feel like maybe if I'd have fished there, I'd have hooked a few more and maybe put a few more fish in the net. But it's clear when you have to go to those sort of snaggy areas, obviously the fish aren't happy to be there, and you can see that the fish have pushed that way. But there's been a few bites. I can't really complain. At least I've caught a few. It's just not been quite what I expected.
Just feels now like they've just sort of settled, where you start getting the bites after like 2 minutes. Not a big one. Come on, Andy, one more for the road. Come on, Kerry, what's happening? Oh, hello, he's got one on as well, look. Fish on. Come on, baby, get in there. Well done, Andy. Not you, Andy May. Andy Powers, I mean.
I think you were let. I think you were let down by your partner.
No, not having it. Not having it when I'm part of a team.
I would
not having
take-
it.
I
I'm not
would.
having it.
No, have it.
No,
Lee.
I'm not having it. No. My teammate was on a horrific peg.
I'm not having it. Won the match yesterday.
Yeah.
Did it?
That's an actual thing, yeah, because
win
all
the
the fish were caught yesterday.
You scared them off.
Yes, and they've moved to your pegs. Yep, that's
What about the
exactly
pegs
what's
to your
happened.
right?
Geese! Pardon?
What about the peg to your right? Have they moved to that way as well?
They're always in that peg anyway.
Oh, right.
It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
they vacated mine because they got a battering yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're sticking to that, Lee, aren't
I'll
we?
go with that, mate. Listen,
Team North,
I'm
stick to that.
sticking with it. My teammate. I'm saying they'll. But listen, we'll come back. We'll come back from this. It'll take a bit of rebuilding,
I don't
won't
think
it?
Andy will.
So
Honestly.
is that
Well,
round
I don't
2 for
think
next
he will.
year?
Well, it would be. Who else we got in the north? Any other anglers?
No. Oh, hang on.
There's a few.
What to replace me? Just stick it in with it.
No. We've
further,
had.
mate.
In all seriousness, we've had the feeder pegs on the end have thrown up some fish, and it's been harder in the middle on the pole.
No.
So-
Hard for one.
No,
Yeah, no, hard
it's
for the
been
pole,
hard.
isn't it?
It's been hard in the middle. On the
He's only
pole,
beat you by
so,
£10, mate,
Yeah.
or just over.
£20, mate.
No.
15.
Trying to make it better,
£15,
isn't it?
£15.
All right, mate.
I'm trying to make you feel better here.
No,
Come
it's
on.
nothing. She's nearly doubled me, basically, isn't he?
So how many times you've actually fished this venue, Andy, do you think, over the years?
Probably about 3 times
This month.
this year.
Oh well.
Yeah, all right, it's on venue, but it's
Yeah,
not gone
well,
down
well
to
done,
that.
well done to the
Yeah,
south.
cheers,
Well
Lee.
done to the
Thanks.
south. That's
Well done,
very
Andy.
good. Well done, south.
Well done.
Thanks for trying.
Well done, the power.
It's been a pleasure.
Soft handshake.
Well done, Andy.
Well done, mate.
We took it out. Down south next year, I think.
Yeah, we'll beat you on your home water
That's
next
what we
year.
need to be doing.
Yeah, sounds great.
Exactly the same what's happened today, but reverse.
Sounds great.
Isn't it?
But what?
Well, no, reverse today.
so
So
we're
down south. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing better, is there, is beating someone on their own turf.
No, there's not, Des. So we're going to smash it up next year.
We'll have a
We're going for
little
practice
dabble.
next year, mate.
Yes, we
Right, so that concludes North versus South. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit subscribe.
Yes!
Well done, boys.